So hello everyone, we're gonna be using this AI to like recreate the Jotaro and Dio fight. It's like 3 AM. Just sit back, relax and enjoy. This is gonna be alright. So how this works is you input some whatever you want basically, and when you click send, it will continue the story from itself. So anyways, here's what I wrote. Jotaro and Dio, two unbeatable stand users. They both have the ability to stop time and have power and speed above anyone else. Dio is an ancient vampire and Jotaro is a Japanese high school student. Jotaro using his stand Star Platinum and Dio using his stand The World, they both clash into one another ready to kill each other. Okay, so this is where it starts. So okay, the two of them are now in a battle that will decide who wins. I mean, that's kind of the whole point of battles, but Dio has no choice but to fight Jotaro since he can't run away from it. Dio's right hand was cut off by Jotaro. After Dio loses his right arm, he decides to go back to being a human. So he goes to the hospital where he used to work as a doctor before becoming a vampire. So acting like being a vampire is a choice of career, he uses his medical knowledge to cure himself. When Dio becomes a normal human again, he also stops drinking blood, but he still has a craving for it. Since he was once a doctor, he takes care of people suffering from cancer and then starts a clinic for cancer patients in Japan. He gives all his money to them so they don't have to worry about anything anymore. While Jotaro's father died while Jotaro was young, Jotaro lived with his mother and sister. His sister was killed by a mafia boss. Jotaro wanted revenge on the mafia boss and went to the mafia boss's hideout. Jotaro found out that the mafia boss was actually Dio. We're getting into some part 5, part 3 collaboration over here. At first, Dio didn't want to kill Jotaro because Dio liked Jotaro and saw him as a brother, but after seeing how much pain Jotaro was going through, Dio decided to take revenge on the mafia boss. But Dio realized that he had become an evil vampire, so he left the mafia and became a good person. When Dio was treating cancer patients, he met this makes no sense. I'm gonna reset this. Let's reset this and see what it comes up with this time. But then the battle ends in a draw. They both decide to work together to defeat their common enemy, the Dark Lord. The story of my life, a certain someone anime. After being expelled from his academy. That's I was on the run for some. What is this shit? No, stop it. I want bloodthirsty fighters fighting to the death. The result of this battle will decide the fate of all mankind. The two stood face to face, glaring at each other. Dio was an old vampire with the appearance of a beautiful woman who had long white hair that reached down to her feet. Her skin was pale as if it were made of what the hell even is that? And she wore a dress that seemed like some painting from Michelangelo. The dress looked like it could be ripped apart by a single... No. One more time, let's see. But before they can do that, a girl comes out of nowhere and stops them. It's Konatsu, who was kidnapped by Dio in order to force Jotaro to fight him. He then uses her as bait so he could lure Jotaro into his trap. Konatsu asks Jotaro to not kill Dio and instead use his strength to defeat Dio once. Isn't that practically the same thing? She says she will stay with Dio until Jotaro gets there. When Jotaro sees Konatsu being used as bait, he goes berserk. But after seeing Konatsu's face, he calms down. He tells Dio that if he wants to kill him, he'll need to go head first. That makes no sense. The two men start fighting, and while Dio is stronger than Jotaro, he doesn't seem to be able to win. So he decides to use his trump card, the world, that allows him to control time itself. Finally, we're getting into some juicy stuff. And makes it so that the battle will never end. What kind of Izanagi shit is this? While this is going on, the time has stopped, and everyone in the town is frozen in place. All except for the people inside the clock tower where the two are fighting. At this point, Jotaro is really close to winning. He managed to take we see a pattern here with taking Dio's arm off and is about to finish him off when Dio suddenly stops time again. Is the time already stopped? Now Dio is controlling time itself and is able to do whatever he pleases. He creates a giant vortex that swallows up Jotaro. In the meantime, Konatsu and Dio's bodyguard come Since when does Dio have a bodyguard, and why would Dio's bodyguard save Jotaro? They managed to get Jotaro back, but at this point Dio is already gone. He escapes using his time powers, so now it's just Konatsu and Dio's bodyguard left. The bodyguard is unable to move due to the effects of Dio's time powers. Konatsu tries to stop Dio from escaping, but she can't because of Dio's time powers. So she runs away screaming, but how would she even run away? After that, Jotaro and Dio meet again. This time, they are both standing on top of a building for some reason. And Dio is holding a sword in his hand. Jotaro uses his own Star Platinum and starts attacking Dio. But Dio is much more powerful than Jotaro, so Dio easily beats Jotaro and takes his hand. Then Dio turns around and looks at Konatsu, who's watching the whole thing from behind a tree. Even so, they're on top of a building. He tells her to run, but Konatsu refuses to leave him. She begs Dio to spare Jotaro. She says that she knows how strong Jotaro is and that she believes in him. He's already dead. She says that he's a good person and would never kill anyone. Dio then realizes that Konatsu is not just an ordinary human. He's a vamp. No. Okay, let's try this one more time. But then they suddenly stopped time and got surprised by the other's ability. Seems about accurate. And that was when Dio realized that he could use his stand to control time. So he used it on Jotaro and made him go back in time before the fight started. Then he took out all of Jotaro's weapons and put them in the past. In the end, Jotaro was defeated because he didn't know how to fight with no weapon. He became so frustrated that he gave up fighting altogether. This angered Dio, who had been waiting for Jotaro to give up. He gave up? Why would it anger Dio if that's what he was waiting for? The next day, Dio went to Jotaro's house and asked him if he wanted to get revenge against him. Jotaro said yes, and the two of them met at the same place where they first fought. But this time, Jotaro learned from his mistake and brought along his own weapons. Dio also brought along some weapons as well. They were about to start fighting again, but then the sun rose. The sun rays hit their skin and burned them both. They ran away and hid themselves in the shadow. At night, Dio came back and found Jotaro sleeping. He cut off Jotaro's head and threw it far away. With that, he became even stronger than before. Then he went to the place where Jotaro was killed and buried his body there. But after a while, the dead began to move around and attack people. Well, that was Jotaro vs Dio AI edition. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know. I know it was a bit underwhelming, but we had fun and that's what matters. So yeah, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, whatever, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.